So
Okay.
welcome to another edition of My Kids Are Watching a Thing, and I have to suffer through it, so I'm going to fucking talk about it.
Okay. Artemis, thank you for naming your points for an errata.
Hats.
You fucking degen.
Hattie hat hat. Yeah, so recently, my youngest two have been into fucking SpongeBob SquarePants.
I mean that makes sense.
It's
It's a
obnoxious.
decent show.
No, it is obnoxious as fuck.
Okay.
And I don't know, I am probably not the first person to pick up on this,
Yeah.
but I'm not like I don't enjoy it like I enjoy Bluey, so I'm not doing a deep dive to see what everybody else is saying about it. So I'm going to
About
come out with
SpongeBob?
about SpongeBob. So
It's
I'm going to come
okay.
out with a potential hot take. SpongeBob is capitalist propaganda.
Alt Another hot take. SpongeBob is the brainchild of a marine biologist who wanted to have a as accurate as possible, but also definitely quirky and silly kid show, which is what happened.
It is capitalist propaganda.
Okay. I mean, in the sense that Mr. Krabs exists as a character, I guess.
No, see, Mr. Krabs is
He
the
likes
plausible
money.
deniability. He is the plausible deniability so that people can say like, oh no, it's not capitalist propaganda because Mr. Krabs is clearly not a good guy. But here's the thing. Watching the dynamic between Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob, and Squidward, Squidward is clearly the lazy employee who doesn't go above and beyond for their boss, while SpongeBob is the good employee who does go above and beyond for their boss. SpongeBob is unquestionably the guy who's painted in the most sympathetic light in the show. And the whole thing there is that even though the capitalist overlords are greedy, money hungry, don't care about their employees, nasty little shits, you should still go above and beyond at work. That is how you find fulfillment in life, because there's an episode where SpongeBob gets fired and he just loses all purpose in his life because he doesn't have his work for the greedy capitalist overlord, and to the point where he asks if he can work there for free. So, yes, SpongeBob is fucking capitalist propaganda.
I think that's meant to be more of a pitiable thing, though. I mean, okay, so like, if we're gonna look at this, if we're gonna do this seriously and look at this through a Marxist lens, then Squidward is the character who's developed class consciousness. He is the one who derives his joy from the arts. He is the one who has the most critiques of the Krusty Krab. He is the one who has the most critiques of the system. He is the one that looks down on the people
And he is almost universally portrayed as an unsympathetic character who is always trying to get one over on SpongeBob.
Understandable. Understandable. Better hot take. SpongeBob is autistic, and working at the Krusty Krab is, well, it may have been his hyperfixation once, but it 100% became a special interest over time.
Okay.
That
But
doesn't
that's still,
that doesn't say anything on your analysis. That's a you could if we
that
wanted
is
to go
neither
with
a
your
point for or against my
if
analysis.
we wanted to go with your analysis, then it's a point for your analysis because it sorry, burping. It adds to the idea of the working class, especially the working class who may have mental disabilities or who may be neurodivergent, being taken advantage of by that system. So
Yep.
yeah, sure, why not?
Absolutely.
We could do that. We could do that. We can also, I guess you could also have the fun conversation because, like, you've seen enough. Have you seen enough SpongeBob to know about the beef between Mr. Krabs and Plankton?
Yes, so I was actually going to bring that up as well, because Plankton is unquestionably the bad guy in any of the episodes that he's in, and Mr. Krabs is kind of sort of the good guy in that, and he deserves to keep hold of his intellectual property, even though it might be better served for the community if more people had access to that recipe, and so more people could enjoy good food.
So I would say this.
It is our recipe, comrade.
I would say this. I think it's maybe more accurate to say that SpongeBob contains capitalist apologia, but I would not think it's accurate to say it is capitalist propaganda.
So I will admit that I did not do the deep research on this that I did when I was talking about Bluey's parents being swingers.
Because it wasn't your special interest.
Well, no, it's because Bluey's actually a good show.
I think, okay, so I will come to the defense of SpongeBob in the earlier seasons because they have been
fucking know what season. I don't even fucking know what season they're watching.
It's a show that's syndicated, so it's built to be reran a billion times. But like, it in the earlier seasons of SpongeBob, it did have a lot more. What is the best way to put this? The episodes had more salient messages as opposed to just SpongeBob is a goof and Patrick is a moron. Let's watch them go frolic. It's also why most of the memes about SpongeBob were all made off of like the first 4 seasons.
Okay. Like I said, I've not watched enough of it. I've watched enough of it to know that I fucking hate it. Because they just like, I don't know, there's just too much unnecessary noise. Like even the fucking theme song, they have kids screaming atonally in the background. Like, no, can you do like kids can sing? It is possible for kids to sing. No, get kids that can sing for your fucking theme song. Yeah.
So I think I agree with the kernel of truth that you're aiming at. I do. Why is my phone beeping? It is. I need to stop having this alarm. This is the most inconvenient alarm. Why did I set an alarm for 8:40 at night? Anyway.
I mean, your dog set an alarm for 10 o'clock at night on Wednesdays. So.
Yeah, it's true. Though I'm hoping that she will be very, very worn out. We did some leash training today, and she passed out on the floor when we got home. So I'm hoping that maintains. But I think I agree with the kernel of truth that you're working with, that is the capitalist messages that are inherent in there. But I mean, we can do a Marxist analysis of anything and find that. I think the term propaganda does not necessarily apply here. Because like
possibly not.
The Tuttle Twins is propaganda.
I don't know what the Tuttle Twins are.
PragerU Kids is propaganda.
Oh, those that is
like
that's most definitely, yeah.
And I know that it's technically a bad argument to say that this thing isn't X because I have a worse example of X, because that's what an abuser says after they're beating you and they go, that's not a beating, this is a beating. And then they start hitting harder. Like, that's not that.
So Axolotl says Rhino's really trying to cosplay Mr. Fantastic with all that stretching.
You know, I think it definitely has pro-capitalist messaging, but I don't think...
Here's the thing. When I'm watching shows that I like, TV or movies or whatever, that I don't like, and I'm not even enjoying from a so bad it's good sort of position, I start analyzing it from a technical standpoint, because that's how I derive entertainment from it then. Yeah. So it's like in live action, so it would be like, why are they choosing the camera angles that they're choosing? Why is the lighting the way that it is? Why did they cut here? Why did they... So we watched, what is it? Adolescence? We watched the first episode of Adolescence last week. Probably not going to watch the rest of it, because it was just so long and drawn out and kind of felt like really boring. And I get that that's partially what they were going for. But like, I actually did enjoy it from a standpoint of, like, it wasn't until about halfway through the episode that I realized that, like, oh, they're doing this whole thing in one goddamn take. And so I started like analyzing it from that perspective and seeing where they could potentially hide hidden cuts and everything. Apparently they didn't do any hidden cuts, but there were several spots where they could have done one. But yeah, so like, it's a really well put together show. And I was also like looking at it from like, okay, it's making me uncomfortable with the way they're doing the camera work. And at first I was like, is that unintentional? Because some of it seemed kind of amateurish, like the framing was off just a little bit, like the over the shoulder shots, you couldn't see the shoulder of the one person, so it didn't feel like quite right. And the more I got into it, the more it was like, oh, no, they did that on purpose because they want you to feel uncomfortable. They want you to feel like what it would
It's
be
like it's like
to be taken away to a
watching
police station for the day and not know what's going on.
it's like
And
watching a Kubrick film and you're just like, man, they're lingering on this shot for a minute or two. This makes me feel queasy. Oh, right. It's because there's a robot AI that wants to fucking kill everybody here. Of course you're gonna feel queasy. Like, I get that. I get that. So I do want to say there is actually a possibly socialist conversation to be had about SpongeBob, if you're willing to hear a couple of points.
sure.
We're already here. Why not? Okay, cool. So
I titled the stream for this because I knew we were going to get derailed on this right off the beginning. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'll make sure everybody knows what they're getting into when they click the video.
all right. So here's my take. So Bikini Bottom has one of two things guaranteed. It either has a very high standard of living and very high wages because SpongeBob is able to afford a house on a fry cook's wage,
Patrick is able to afford a house being unemployed.
which means that there is likely either UBI or a strong safety net in Bikini Bottom. And for there to be UBI or a strong safety net, if this is looked at through the contemporary lens of how workers' rights have operated throughout the world, that
Fennec
means
is saying that SpongeBob apparently has rich parents.
I don't remember if he has rich parents or not. We don't hear anything about the income there. What I can say is that, yes, lots of people have jobs in Bikini Bottom, but people without jobs still have homes, which leads me to believe that there was some workers' right fight that happened somewhere in Bikini Bottom, and it was so successful that we still have good standards of living for everyone. I mean, hell, isn't Squidward's house, when he works at the frickin' cashier job, doesn't he have like a good 2-story house? And he's able to afford very expensive brass instrumentry? Like, they're not in a terrible spot. Nobody seems to be in a super terrible spot financially. And yeah, on the one hand, you can look at that as it's a cartoon, duh. But on the other hand, these are adults that are shown with jobs. And so, at the very least, something happened. Some workers' rights things happened. And everybody is better off for it.
Yeah, okay, sure. But that's the thing though, is because the capitalist aspect is the text. The stuff that you're looking at is the subtext. So the capitalist message is the more overt message. Which I'm not saying the subtext is like you can just discard it without considering it, but it is worth thinking about how the capitalist side of it is the more explicit.
Also, apparently, there was an episode in 2001 where Squidward formed the Communist Party of Bikini Bottom. So apparently that's a thing.
Okay.
I don't remember that particular episode, but I don't know.
Fennec is linking to a SpongeBob wiki for Margaret SquarePants.
Okay. Comrade Tentacles.
Okay.
Yeah, on this. Oh, it's SpongeBob fanon. Never mind. That's not actual thing. I would thought I was on the SpongeBob wiki, but no, that's SpongeBob fanon wiki. But I don't know. I think you can definitely read in arguments for multiple sides in SpongeBob, but it seems if I were to steel man your position, the on the surface reading is that it's bad. The on the surface reading is pro-capitalist.
Artemis says Margaret Taylor Greenpants. Ooh, Hitchmeister's got a good point.
We got to talk about her. We got to talk about her today. But
yeah, I know. Hitchmeister's got a good point. Or it's propaganda. They're trying to insinuate that anyone can have a house and a good life with any job, and if you think otherwise, you're being contrarian. So that we don't need to raise minimum wage; it's already high enough. You can just
minimum wage in Bikini Bottom is great. Ignore the strike that happened in Bikini Bottom.
Like I said, I've seen like 5 episodes and I was only half paying attention because I fucking hate it. It's obnoxious.
Okay. I can understand the perspective of hating it.
This is what I got from it. Have I seen the Bald episode? No, I haven't.
It's like 500 episodes of SpongeBob, if not more.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.